The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Today is Monday, September 13th, 2021, and we look around this country and we wonder, where is the leadership in the time of crisis that we need? And we see leaders across this country making decisions that are without question going to get more people killed because of the pandemic. We're faced with multiple pandemics this morning, the least of which is not the pandemic of ignorance, bigotry, and obtuseness coming from our leaders. Let's discuss that at great lengths today. But first, On the Clock with Georgia Ford.
Nearly 100 teens and children were in the street of Minnesota this weekend demanding justice for their friend, for their classmate, for their brother. We have this report that came in about a week ago about 2 teens being killed in a high-speed chase in Maplewood, Minnesota. And they were 2 of 6 teens in a vehicle that was reported stolen. And as Ramsey County Sheriff started to pursue the vehicle, what became inherent that was more important to them was the property, was the vehicle, because they decided to lay spike strips, which then in turn caused the car to spiral out of control, killing 2 of the teens inside. And here in this community, it's caused a big debate about whether or not law enforcement agencies should be allowed to pursue in these high-speed chases that are often reckless and end up out of control. And just like 2 months ago, we talked about Lenille Frazier, who was also killed as an innocent bystander in a high-speed chase. Representative Jonathan Mccullen, who is the president of the Minnesota Justice Coalition, demanded justice as well, stood in solidarity with these youth. Take a listen at what he had to say.
Our community has questions that do need to be answered to make sure that the police are being transparent and accountable for their role in what happened. We want to know why the police took the approach to escalate the situation as opposed to de-escalating the situation. We are curious as to why strips needed to be placed to stop the vehicle. Were these 6 kids in the car such a threat that these strips needed to be used to stop the car, endangering the lives of all 6 children? When will the body camera, dash cam, video, audio, and dispatch records be released to the public unedited?
Now, Ben, Jonathan Mccullen has been a guest on our show in the past, and he represents the Minnesota Justice Coalition. He started to speak on this case specifically about a week after it's happened because there's some discrepancies. The chase, it ended in Maplewood. In the city of Maplewood, the policy that they have, it's available on their website. Their police department does not allow pursuits unless it is a violent felony level crime, which I don't think that this case falls under those guidelines. So right. It does not follow under the city's guidelines. However, the caveat is the chase was pursued by Ramsey County deputies. So they have their own guidelines and policies, but those policies are not publicly available. And to Jonathan's point, there's a lack of transparency. So how does the public know if the sheriffs broke a policy when the policies aren't available? And we've had more than a dozen media outlets request for them to publish their policy, and they have not responded yet.
That's right, Georgia. I'm listening to this case, and it just reminds me of so many other cases around the country where in order to get justice, there has to be a level of transparency. With some of the very items they talked us into giving them and equipping them with all of this additional funding for body cam and dash cam and all these different things that we agreed upon to say, okay, let's reform the police. But at this point, there are just too many hurdles, too many barriers to actually getting justice that suggest that this is not about technology. It's not about having video footage. It's not about having access to justice. It's about that there's still barriers in the way of justice. And I think that's what we have to fundamentally address.
Absolutely. It broke my heart to see so many young people out there. These were children. They didn't even know the chants. You go to a protest and there are these typical chants that are used to unite the people that are there. These teens, they didn't even know what these chants were. They're grieving the fact that their 14 and 15-year-old classmate, Marcos Paramo and Elijah Thomas, they don't get to graduate. They don't get to go to prom. And there are body camera footage, right? There is body camera footage. These sheriffs have not denied that. They have not denied that there is dash cam footage either. But what good is all of that if you're not going to be transparent? The interesting thing is now, when the footage supports the police narrative and when the footage can be used to justify the actions of these law enforcement agencies, they'll release it the next day.
That's right.
But in the instant when it might show something that means that one of these officers should be held accountable, that's when you see this tug of war. That's when you see the people having to show up at the county attorney's house and downtown and shut down the highway before anyone says, okay, fine, we'll let you see it. And that's not how it should be. We should be operating in this post-George Floyd society. We should be operating with our law enforcement agencies and our public safety departments in a manner of transparency, because that is the best way to produce real accountability if you're being transparent.
Absolutely. And what this suggests to me, Georgia, is that they had no intention of dealing in good faith with us from the beginning, that this was all of the technology they had us funnel additional revenue to them for, these body cams, these dash cams. It was for their benefit and not the benefit of the people, because we see in the case of Ma'Khia Bryant how quickly they put that video out because it fit perfectly with the narrative, but nobody actually took into consideration all of the surrounding factors that led to that young lady herself looking for help from the police. But the point is that when it fits their narrative, you're absolutely right, Sister Ford. When it fits their narrative, they will absolutely put it out immediately. And so that suggests there's something in this that tells us that they don't want to handle it in the public eye. So we can not make speculations, but there's a really good guess here. I think there's an educated guess that we can make that there's something in this that is damning to their narrative.
Well, at this point, I just want to know what the Ramsey County Sheriff's policy is on high-speed pursuits. I want to know if this deputy who was pursuing this car full of teens was acting within the department's policies. I think that's a very fair, standard request. And why won't they respond to media who has reached out, myself included, asking, what is your policy in high-speed pursuits? They won't say it. Then we should be asking ourselves, why is that information not just on their website? Like the city of Maplewood, when I called them, their city manager, they pointed me to their webpage. They said, click on this, click on public safety, click on police department, click on policies. And there was a 356-page manual. Why is that not the standard for every single law enforcement agency in this country? Why can't their policies be public information? These are public servants who are being paid on tax dollars. If their policies are publicly available, then there is no question whether or not they're violating a policy. We can go and look that information up ourselves. Then now the second question is, let's say that their policy in high-speed pursuits is the same as the city of Maplewoods, which means they violated their own policies. Now, what is the action of recourse? And what type of accountability are you going to put in place for the sheriff who pursued this vehicle full of teens, ultimately causing the death of these two kids, a 14 and a 15-year-old? And to the people who are out there who don't have a heart and want to make this about kids making mistakes, let's be clear. We have a criminal justice system and a juvenile criminal justice system that is put in place to mitigate these types of situations. We have seen for decades where you have kids who have gone on joy rides and they get whatever charges that they get, and they get whatever amount of time in jail or house arrest that they get. That is the criminal justice system that we have created to deal with these types of decisions. But here in the state of Minnesota, the last time I checked, we don't have the death penalty. And so why are we okay with a public safety system that doesn't take people to jail when they're doing something wrong, doesn't give them a citation, but allows them to be killed and allows that killing to be justified?
Absolutely. And I the only thing that I would add, if anything, to that is that I think that that is the root of why they are trying to obfuscate as much as they can in this moment, right? Because I think we're going to clearly see that the reaction to a joyride from a group of kids in a car should under no circumstances end in the deaths being caused by strips, the spikes being thrown out as if they were in a high-speed pursuit of some type of criminal that has robbed a bank or harmed someone. No, these were kids on a joyride. And if they broke the law, let the law handle it. But no summary execution because of the excitement of some overexcited officer of the law.
Yeah. We have a clip of Marcos Paramo's mother. He was the 14-year-old who died in this crash. By the way, the 15-year-old driver is being held accountable. He's facing 2 counts of vehicular homicide for the 2 deaths that occurred. Marcos Paramo's mother is a person who trusted the police, who invited them into her home when Marcos had been in trouble before and was trying to work with them to find a better route, a better path for Marcos. This situation has totally changed her perspective. Take a listen at what she had to say on Friday.
Is I gave this police department my utmost respect. Every time they came to my door to harass my kids or any other kids in the neighborhood, no matter if it was them or not, I held my kids accountable for every action they did when you came to tell me what they did. Not one of you, knowing me personally and my son personally, with the respect I gave you, not one of you have came to my door and said, I'm sorry for your loss. How are you doing? How are you doing? Is there anything you need? That was a stab in the back, and I'm so hurt by it, and I want you to know, I want justice for these kids. I want to know why this happened and what was your reasoning for killing these kids and putting all these other kids in jeopardy for chasing them.
Why didn't he matter? Why?
Now, Ben, what are your thoughts on that? Someone who supported the police and now is on the other side of the fence.
You know, I would say, first of all, condolences and deepest sympathies to the family that are grieving at this time. There's so much grief and so much tragedy around us. It's just compounding upon compounding of catalogs of traumas that we are experiencing. And so I want to just recognize that sorrow. That said, I also want to say that the police state that was first refined in the Black community was never going to be limited to the Black community. It was always going to affect every community, whether it was Black, brown, indigenous populations, and then, yes, the white community as well. And there's so many stories that we've covered here, Georgia, of how the police state is executing white people. And the question, and not that race in this instance is the key variable, but it is the nature and the structure of the police state that the Black community has been crying about for the longest, that is strangleholding so many communities across this country. And I think we really need to understand that if we can't get us grapple hold of what's happening in this police state in general, then we're going to see it popping up all across this country. And I think that's what we're experiencing right now.
Yeah. And I mean, I really believe people thought that this was going to be resolved after George Floyd, that was going to be the situation that created change. But here we are. And these are different situations, right? What happened to George Floyd is very different than these high speed pursuits. But this is not an isolated incident, Ben.
That's right.
These high speed pursuits are killing people all across this country. And oftentimes like with Laniel Frazier. We covered this case about a month or two ago. This was a man who wasn't accused of a crime. This was a man who was minding his business, whose vehicle was struck while the police were trying to pursue a criminal. That's the same thing that happened to David Pollard in Columbus, Georgia, a baseball coach who was going out to get chalk for a game. And the police are pursuing a criminal, and instead, because they're going so fast and running through lights, crash into David's car and kill him, an innocent baseball coach. And so at what point are we truly going to examine these public safety systems that are failing us and create more safer departments, not just for affluent communities, but for all communities?
That's right. That's absolutely right. And thank you for making that distinction, because let's be honest, the police do protect and serve certain communities. They don't show up in certain communities at that speed. We dare them to drive through certain neighborhoods at that speed. And so there is a component of this that we have to talk about, is that the policing agencies across this country, they really do execute that brute force in poor communities almost exclusively. And when you cross a certain zip code, or you cross a certain bridge or a certain track, you will see the distinct difference between how the police police different communities.
Absolutely. And Ben, I know that you have some updates on the infrastructure bill this morning.
Yeah, we're following this out of Washington, D.C. as we look at everything that is happening around the country, particularly in the aftermath of Hurricane Ida. We see our failing infrastructure all across. Anywhere you drive, you can see that there is something fundamentally wrong that needs to be done, rather, about our infrastructure. And yet we're at a place where one senator in particular has decided to stand up and to be the poster child of stopping us from getting any progress, and that is Senator Joe Manchin. I want us to begin with a clip of Senator Joe Manchin with Dana Bash from CNN as he explains why he is going to make himself yet again an impediment to the agenda of President Joe Biden, but more importantly, the agenda of the people. Let's take a listen into this clip.
Ceiling of $3.5 trillion is just that, a ceiling. No one has ever said that that's an exact number or that's a floor. It's up to $3.5 trillion. Now, I see that Joe Manchin has mentioned a $1.5 trillion number. Well, somewhere between 1.5 and 3.5, there is $2 trillion. Those $2 trillion are there. And I think that there is a lot of room for people to sit down and negotiate. It may be when you're sitting around the table, you may not need $3.5 trillion to do what the president wants done and what the country needs done. But let's work on it and stay out of all of this negotiating in the media. That's not the way to negotiate. Let's keep this around the table and see what we can come up with.
Now, that clip was of Congressman Jim Clyburn out of South Carolina as he makes some capitulations to more negotiations. I want to get back to that clip momentarily, but the clip I want us to see first is going to be that of Senator Joe Manchin, who is the impediment to getting the package that President Biden says he wants to get. Let's take a listen in there.
Your party leader, Chuck Schumer, says he's moving, quote, full speed ahead with this package. Will he have your vote?
And that's fine. He can. He will not have my vote on 3.5, and Chuck knows that. And we've talked about this. We've already put out $5.4 trillion, and we've tried to help Americans in every way we possibly can. What's the urgency? What's the urgency that we have? It's not the same urgency that we have with the American Rescue Plan. We got that out the door quickly. That was about $2 billion, $2 trillion. There's still an awful lot of people that need help, but you have 11 million jobs that aren't filled right now. 8 million people are still unemployed. Something's not matching up. Don't you think we ought to hit the pause?
Do you have a specific number in mind?
I thought the 2017 tax code and tax law, the way it was changed, was very, very, very unfair, and it was weighted to the wealthy.
So what's the number?
And the bottom line is, what the number would be what's going to be competitive in our tax code. I believe that the corporate rate should be at 25, not 21.
But what's the overall number for the budget?
It's going to be at 1.5. We don't know where it's going to be.
So you think ballpark 1.5?
It's not going to be at 3.5, I can assure you.
Do you have a ceiling?
My ceiling is this. the need of the American people and for us to basically take in consideration inflation. You know, our debt as of Friday was $28.7.5 trillion.
The White House Chief of Staff, Ron Klain, told me on this show last week that you are, quote, very persuadable on this budget bill because he says it will be paid for.
Well, if you're paying for it with inflated numbers from the standpoint, is the tax code, the numbers that they're wanting to pay for it, and the tax changes they want to make.
Meaning, don't increase taxes on corporations?
I want to increase taxes on corporations. I've spoken to corporations.
So what specifically are you saying?
I want the wealthy to pay their fair share. The most urgent thing that we have to do is get the bipartisan infrastructure bill that's gone left unattended for over 30 years.
Now, Georgia, if you listened closely to all of that word salad, you would hear a person that does not want to be pinned down. He doesn't want to answer the question of how much should we be investing in our infrastructure at this time. And so it really, I do want to just interject before I give it to you. The fact that Joe Manchin has clearly aligned himself against President Biden's agenda. He's made it clear, and he may have been speaking to Chuck Schumer, the speaker, the Senate Majority Leader, when he said, "You don't have my vote." But I want to make it sure the American people hear this very clearly. He's saying this to Joe Biden. Joe Biden, you do not have my vote. Georgia.
You know, the question here, Ben, is how many more bridges have to collapse? How many more buildings have to, like what happened in Surfside, right? How much more of our infrastructure has to just completely fail and be the result of why people die before we see Democrats and Republicans who are willing to find a middle ground on this? At the end of the day, it's these politicians' responsibility to figure it out. That's what we're paying them to do. That's what we voted them in office to do. And so when you see someone who doesn't want to be pinned down, I feel like that's typical politics. That is what we have allowed our politicians to do for so long. That is just, it's pretty much kind of expected in political culture. Not transparency, not truth, not accountability. But even with this being a post-Trump world, right, where lying was the normal and you had to sift through all the information. We need this infrastructure bill on so many fronts. I also think that it's going to help our economy when you think about all of the contractors who are going to be on the receiving end of executing that work. I think that it's definitely something we need. But being here in Minneapolis, where we saw 35W collapse right in front of us, I mean, there is a huge need for that. And then when you start cutting back the layers and not just the construction that needs to happen, but even the technical infrastructure that needs to be put in place, because when you start going into rural communities, the technical infrastructure is not there.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is critical. And to be sure now, the $3.5 trillion that Chuck Schumer is trying to get through is already a compromise, because you can rest assured those dollars that have already been negotiated out from the ceiling that Bernie Sanders and others put of some $6 trillion. Those are communities of color, Black communities that have already been negotiated out in so many levels, not expressly. I know the devil's in the detail, but if any negotiation is happening, do you think it's going to happen at the expense of well-to-do communities who are going to be the first in line to get something out of this infrastructure bill? So the more Joe Manchin tries to negotiate down, like we're nowhere near the $6 trillion that we need to spend, right? We're now at $3.5 trillion that Joe Biden and Chuck Schumer try to get a fraction of it, and that's still not good enough for Joe Manchin. And quite honestly, the very clip that we listened to was Jim Clyburn capitulating himself, saying that, well, we can negotiate down. No, because Black communities are the communities that get negotiated down whenever that happens. I want to play one more clip before we shift gears, and this is from Representative Katie Porter out of California, and she normally uses a whiteboard in order to make her points and to, verbally eviscerate bankers. But in this case, she didn't need it as she took Joe Manchin to task. Let's take a listen in.
using a real corporate profit approach to dealing with those corporations that pay zero, we could generate $700 billion. If we use the corporate minimum tax approach, we're going to generate $40 billion. Right there, Senator Manchin, right there, anyone who's worried about spending, we can generate the revenue so that this isn't about $3.5 trillion in spending. It's not even now about $3.5 trillion in spending because we're going to generate the revenue to pay for these things. I have the will to do it. The question is, does Senator Manchin, or is he more concerned about his corporate donors, including large corporations, the oil and gas industry, the big pharmaceutical industry, and others who are getting away with paying nothing under our current tax system?
Shouldn't tax enforcement, putting more money into the IRS to enforce the existing tax laws, wouldn't that be a great part of this budget?
But look who took that out. The very same people who are complaining that we can't afford to make investments in regular American families are the same ones who are trying to shield the tax cheats of this country.
So Katie Porter is hitting on a critical hypocrisy that we're going to unpack in the next half hour, Georgia. We really want to dig down into the people who are complaining about the problem being the source of the problem. And we're going to talk about that in the next block.
Absolutely. And before that, a quick update on COVID. If we have it, there is a graphic which shows the amount of states that are actually doing well and the handful of states that are continuing to see spikes. You can see here California, as well as Florida and a few other states that have started to see decreases. And then you have about a dozen states that are either in uptick or spike mode. And so be conscious of where you are on this map. I know we have people who are tuning in from all across the country, but to reiterate the fact that this pandemic is not over. And each week I'm seeing people, going back into the workplace. People have recommendations of wearing a mask. And I know people want to get back to normal, but definitely keep yourself safe. Ben, for you and your family and other people that you're working with in person, are people still generally trying to stay home, or are you seeing there in Atlanta people just getting back to normal?
It really depends on your circle, because in our circle, we're not playing around. COVID has hit too close to home. We've lost too many friends, and we are all still masking up. We are all considering the booster shot, and we're doing all the social distancing things still. We had a great time at our, outdoor church service, but even then, because it's now the Mu variant, we are taking precautions with masks and whatnot. But if you go to the other side of Atlanta, you would think it was Black College Reunion.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm seeing those communities here as well, where you have a handful of folks. Even when I was in DC and I was near a lot of the colleges, a lot of the students are just ready to get back in full swing of things being like normal. But the different variants out there, some of them protected by vaccines, some of them, you could still get it, but probably not have as bad of a reaction. So, just protect yourself, keep yourself safe, keep yourself informed as well, because this pandemic is not over, but we are at time. So thank you so much for joining us, and stick around for more on the Benjamin Dixon Show.
Coming up on the Benjamin Dixon Show. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Get your coffee, your tea, your drink, whatever it is you need to get your morning started. Y'all, let's go.
I was born in the city, I was raised on its edges. My pop worked his life when it's complex. I found love in its center. If I could live here forever, think it'd be for the better. I love the weather, even though it's fog 24/7. I love the people. This is the city I met all my best friends, and I wanna thank every break. I wanna thank every entrance to every building that I step in this city of mine. Oh, you most my best moments in life.
Anna Hart, Mara Sharice, good morning, y'all. R.S. Lee, good morning, Roller Dragon, Laura Estrada, good morning, Tyra G.
I used to beg my
Randy Rubber, the Pioneer, good morning.
Off and spend the whole damn day doing whatever we want.
Laura Estrada, it was fun, man. Y'all missed a good party, man.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Welcome back. It is Monday, September 13th, 2021. DJ exclusive, man. Maybe I'm tooting my own horn, but that fanfare, man, that music get me hyped, bro. Whenever I hear my opening music, it kind of get me hyped. I hate to be that guy. How you doing this morning, DJ Exclusive?
I'm good, brother. How you doing? That dang it, man.
Hey, what's great, man? What was great is I heard you shouting out everybody who was at the patron party on Friday night. Man, can I just tell you, the patron parties are like next level now. Like, it's kind of like, it feels like it's a skate night. Every time we get together with the family, it feels like a skate night. So shout out to everyone who came on Friday night, and definitely big shout out to DJ Exclusive, who had us partying until, I don't know, James, what was it? What time did we get out of it?
2? I think it was 2 a.m. I think
2 in the morning.
Yeah.
2. And the only reason we stopped was literally because, we are all over 40. Well, at least you and I over 40.
Right.
It was time.
Sleep had become me early in the day, much earlier in the day.
Yes. Bro, I was hanging on, but the music kept us going. Going. So I do want to shout out to everyone who was Muhammad from the UK, Brenda from the UK, Mark from Australia, and of course everyone from here in the States. The family that was here from Japan. It is an international experience when you party with us. So thank you all. Patreon.com/the BPD Show or Patreon.com/like it or not, and you get access to all the parties. So there it is. That's
definitely want to miss the next one.
Yo, no, you don't, and we might start doing a special one, man, because I'm thinking about setting up a skate party for my family. So I'll connect with you on that one. Anyway, I digress.
Nice.
More politics, James. Listen, James, you drive around the city, you drive around the state, you drive around this country. Whenever the pandemic wasn't, you do see how broken down and dilapidated our infrastructure is, right? I think anybody can see that.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. That drive to Johnstown, Pennsylvania, my gosh. You had a chance to see a lot, feel a lot, because you feel it on the roads. You see the bridges, it's like, what's going on?
Yeah. Now, you say Pennsylvania. Now I'm thinking about that loop on the outside of Boston proper, right? Coming out of Stoughton and the highway, and just the number of just the fact that that's a pretty dangerous stretch. Especially when we talk about the amount of people that we are jam packing into our systems of highways every single day. You would think that this country would put its money where its mouth is with regard to the infrastructure. Because how else are we supposed to? I mean, if we're going to be good little capitalists and go to work every day and consume, you got to make it accessible to us with a decent infrastructure. And that's just a high level, right? Let's not talk about all the different things in terms of trash, in terms of just the green infrastructure, the future, and preparing for the future. Those are all the different things that we are discussing when we talk about the infrastructure. And brother, before I play this first clip, can you just help me testify to the fact that if anybody is getting negotiated out of this, it's our community. It's the black community.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
All I know is that the money that needs to be spent, and we don't need people up there in the name of bipartisanship negotiating against our best interest. And this is what Senator Joe Manchin is regularly doing to the American people. I want to start with the clip again of him with Dana Bash from CNN as he prevaricates. Joe Manchin, listen, man, we've been doing this politics thing for a while. Like, you are sorely unprepared for this moment in that you have no justification that you could stand by why you are opposing Joe Biden's infrastructure plan. Let's run the clip.
Your party leader, Chuck Schumer, says he's moving, quote, full speed ahead with this package. Will he have your vote?
And that's fine. He can. He will not have my vote on 3.5, and Chuck knows that. And we've talked about this. We've already put out $5.4 trillion, and we've tried to help Americans in every way we possibly can. What's the urgency? What's the urgency that we have? It's not the same urgency that we have with the American Rescue Plan. We got that out the door quickly. That was about $2 billion, $2 trillion. There's still an awful lot of people that need help, but you have 11 million jobs that aren't filled right now. 8 million people are still unemployed. Something's not matching up. Don't you think we ought to hit the pause?
Do you have a specific number in mind?
I thought the 2017 tax code and tax law, the way it was changed, was very, very, very unfair, and it was weighted to the wealthy.
So what's the number?
And the bottom line is, what the number would be, what's going to be competitive in our tax code. I believe that the corporate rate should be at 25, not 21.
But what's the overall number for the budget?
It's going to be at 1.5. We don't know where it's going to be.
So you think ballpark 1.5?
It's not going to be at 3.5, I can assure you.
Do you have a ceiling?
My ceiling is this: the need of the American people, and for us to basically take in consideration inflation. You know, our debt as of Friday was $28.7 trillion.
The White House Chief of Staff, Ron Klain.
That's enough. That's enough. I want to cut it there because my guy today, Joe Manchin, listen, we specialize in unraveling the word salad that is necessary to maintain the ignorance that is this white supremacist system, my brother. You ain't said nothing but a word in that thing. You did not say anything of substance whatsoever. All you're doing is demonstrating to the American people that you will literally say anything to block Joe Biden's agenda. Whose side are you on, Joe Manchin? I think we already know the answer to that, James. Like, did he say anything in that clip at all?
I do. There is something that he did say that everybody does need to pay attention to, and somebody put in the chat, Courtney, the SLP, that the only thing of substance that he said that we just need to pay attention to that had no substance was we've helped Americans every possible way we can.
My man, come on,
pay attention, y'all, because that's the first thing. That's what made me click in my head was click. Oh, okay. You've helped Americans every way you can. 700,000. That's all you got to say, Ben. 700,000.
How, Sway? How? It don't make no sense, Sway. It makes no sense whatsoever. But that jumped out to me too, James.
Yeah.
The very first thing he said, we helped Americans out the best we can. Millions of Americans would beg to differ. So if we start with that premise, let's say that is his understanding. Matter of fact, so that people understand what we're talking about, Dwayne, can you cue up the first, I think it was in the first 15 seconds that he said that. Let's run it back and listen to Joe Manchin as he says they did the best they could to help Americans in this pandemic.
Your party leader, Chuck Schumer, says he's moving, quote, full speed ahead with this package. Will he have your vote?
And that's fine. He can. He will not have my vote on 3.5, and Chuck knows that, and we've talked about this. We've already put out $5.4 trillion, and we've tried to help Americans in every way we possibly can. What's the urgency? What's the urgency that we have? It's not the same urgency that we have.
That's enough. That's it. James, do you feel like the U.S. government helped you out in every way that it possibly could throughout the pandemic?
Heck no. Because if I say anything else, we're going to get canceled. No. Man,
don't get us canceled, and we haven't even started season 2 yet. But
exactly.
No, let's be real. Now, I want to expand the conversation a little bit because I got to step on some toes. We got to call out misleadership no matter where we find it. Joe Manchin is absolutely not on the side of the American people. He's certainly not on the side of the Democratic Party, and I think we need to understand that very clearly. But he is not alone in the capitulation that has always been triangulation that comes at the expense of the black community. I would like to enter into the conversation Jim Clyburn. As he says, 3.5 trillion is not only not a ceiling, but we got about 2 trillion that we're willing to negotiate even more so. And so the reality of it is while we're getting on Joe Manchin for blocking Joe Biden's agenda, we got to talk about brother misleadership class Jim Clyburn as he's doing the same thing in his own way. Listen to his words about the negotiation. Let's play the clip.
Ceiling of 3.5 trillion is just that, a ceiling. No one has ever said that that's an exact number or that's a floor. It's up to 3.5 trillion. Now, I see that Joe Manchin has mentioned a $1.5 trillion number. Well, somewhere between 1.5 and 3.5, there is $2 trillion. Those $2 trillion are there. And I think that there is a lot of room for people to sit down and negotiate. It may be when you're sitting around the table You may not need 3.5 trillion to do what the president wants done and what the country needs done. But let's work on it and stay out of all of this negotiating in the media. That's not the way to negotiate. Let's keep this around the table and see what we can come up with.
Now, I'm sorry if I hear that translation as let's not talk about this in public. Let's get behind smoky closed doors and see who's going to get cut out of it. But, James, I want to ask you a question. If Jim Clyburn gets his way and we cut an additional $2 trillion out of a $3.5 trillion package, do you think that's going to actually come out of, let's say, the side of International Speedway in Daytona Beach that gets closer to the highway, you know, over there by the NASCAR stadium? Do you think the money is going to come out of that side of town or over on our side of town by Bethune-Cookman College, where you can walk on the other side of the street and see abject poverty because of the nature and the condition of black people in this country? Who is going to get sold out according to Jim Clyburn is my question.
You already know the answer to that, Ben. You already know the answer to that.
And so I just want to present into the evidence for the American people to always take into consideration that everyone who's kin to you ain't kin to you. Clyburn, while he may have some distinguished accomplishments and has done a lot of great things for a lot of people who will go to war with me over him, I respect and salute you. But here is the rub. Joe Manchin is over there doing on behalf of his leaders. He's bringing to the table the poor people of Appalachia, of his constituency. He's going to block poor white people from getting anything from this government. Joe Manchin is set there to make sure that he lowers the expectation of all those white folks that Thomas Frank wrote about in What's the Matter with Kansas. That's Joe Manchin's job. So then what would be the job of Jim Clyburn, if not to lower the expectations of black people in this country with regard to what we can get from this country? Do you think, Joe, my brother here, Clyburn, what do you think he's going to say when it comes time for the conversation about reparations? 3.5 trillion is the ceiling. It's not the ceiling. We can negotiate down $2 trillion. It's coming out of the pockets and the material conditions of black communities. Because when they negotiate, they're not negotiating Martha's Vineyards. They're negotiating Roxbury. That's all I got.
And real quick, Ben, somebody said this real good, and because I just don't understand it. I don't. Clyburn is one of those black elites who loves the white man more than the white man loves himself.
Well, I mean, I can't vouch for his integrity with regard to his blackness. One thing, I don't question anybody's blackness. There's no one way to be black. But I would tell you on this infrastructure deal, black communities are the ones that are being sold out without a doubt. Black communities are the ones that are the most dilapidated, the ones that really, let's think about it really practically. And we have one more clip that I want to play and change, as we shift gears. But think about it very practically. Can you even get decent public transportation in some black communities across the South? Not at all, right?
No.
If your car breaks down, I mean, we kind of got a living testimony to that today. If something happens to your vehicle and you can't get to work, can you count on a public transportation system to help you get to work? No, that's infrastructure. Do you have to walk 2 miles to get to your bus stop? That's a lack of infrastructure. Does your train, your subway stop like 20 miles from where? That's why I don't ride the MARTA. If the MARTA went where I needed it to go, I would jump on the MARTA every day, post-pandemic, that is.
Right.
All of that is infrastructure. And we see the communities that suffer the most. If we talk about the future, if we talk about climate change, that's infrastructure. And when I tell you the people who are going to suffer the most are marginalized communities of whom black people have a disproportionate representation. I want to shift gears real quick, Dwayne.
Great.
And I want to go to Let's go to D2, D1. Speaking at a campaign event for Pastor Jackson Lawmayer, who is running to unseat Senator James Lankford in Oklahoma's GOP primary, quote unquote, American patriot Jaron Jackson says he hopes that the military tribunals will end godless commies and burn forever in the lake of fire. This is our daily dose of, I don't know if it's evangelicals, but it's something. Let's take a look at this clip.
I told God anytime I got a platform and a microphone, I would preach the gospel. I care most about Jesus Christ. I don't want anyone to go to hell. If you believe in the death, the burial, the resurrection of Jesus Christ as the only way to go to heaven, you will go. Unlike these godless commies who reject Christ, they will burn forever in a lake of fire. And Lord willing, we will send them through military tribunals, heels a-clacking all the way to meet their creator.
What about Christian commies? I mean, I may not be a godless commie, but maybe I'm a Christian commie. You never, because they're not mutually exclusive, but in the minds of these intentionally obtuse morons, they really do believe that capitalism is next to godliness. But the best example I have of what God does with capitalists is see Jesus in the temple as he ran them out of the temple. But anyway, the point is, man, these people are preaching the gospel of the Republican Party every single opportunity that they get. But listen to the language. These folks really think that they're at war. Or maybe are we foolish in thinking we're not at war, James?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you know, I was questioning, like, why is this a thing now? But I understand why. Because more people are now following this Christian faith or have this faith that they're following or want to listen. They want something to believe in. So now what Republicans are doing and all Donald Trump people and everything else, they're attacking that one point. So they're trying to lead the flock to the slaughter.
And aren't they? Yeah, man. Amen. Because isn't that what they're doing? I want to ask pastors who are out here like Greg Locke, if I could skip a little bit. I want to ask pastors like Greg Locke, how many funerals have you presided over? Because in this next clip, he's going to chastise his own congregation, telling them that they can leave at any point that they want to if they don't like what he's preaching. But I would actually preface this again with saying, can you give us a body count of how many people you've buried, preacher man? Let's take a listen to this clip.
We got some people under this tent right now. You have the hardest time keeping your mouth shut about your church. So I'm going to sit here for about 15 seconds and just give you a chance to leave anytime you want to. Because we need your seat anyhow, you complaining judgmental Pharisee. You can leave anytime you want to. I'm just going to sit here for a minute and let you walk out. If you can call me out behind closed doors, why don't you be man enough, put on your big boy pants, stand up and walk out right now in front of everybody, you coward. Woo! I'm about fired up this morning. Turn this microphone up. I'm fired up. That's a big tent door. You can leave anytime you want to. You critical hypocrite, you Pharisee. If you think I'm going to stop just because you want me to, you have lost your mind. I'm just getting started good. I'm just now calling out Joe Biden. I'm just now preaching against the LGBTQ community. I'm just now calling out abortion. I'm just now talking about election fraud. I'm just now talking about Antifa and Black Lives Matter. I'm just now calling out this wicked nonsense. You might as well leave while everybody's clapping so nobody will see you.
James, I don't know if you want to jump in first.
I just have to be very careful about my word selection these days. So I yield the floor, Benjamin Dixon.
Save it for the after party. Patreon.com/like it or not.
Because to me, it sounded like he was just one sentence away from saying a word with a hard ER on the end of it.
That's
honestly,
right.
truly.
That's right.
Because that gave full racist, white supremacists right there, all in that few seconds. Okay, you fired up today. Man, I might have to roll with you, bro.
Yeah.
We pulling up. Let's go.
Did he not put out a challenge? If you're bad enough, pull up. Wait till I get this booster shot, preacher, because we're going to pull up for sure. That said, I do want to point out how it is his theology is inseparable from the Republican religion. This man can't preach Jesus without preaching Trump.
Yeah.
They have lifted up this ideology as idolatry, right? Their ideology is their God. And I would venture to say that if Jesus were to show up right in front of them, well, they would be a part of the group that said, crucify him. Because as we all know, Jesus was a black man, or at least a dark-skinned man, executed by a police state. But I digress. I want to throw in this last person, chairman of the Oklahoma Republican Party, saying that the 1776 moment is happening. And that honestly, James, I think we need to listen to what they're trying to tell us. Take a listen in.
Yes.
We, as patriot fighters, we are not going to let a blatant election fraud. We will not tolerate that in our constitutional republic. We're going to take this country back. We're going to send some people to jail, and they're going to spend a lot of time in jail for stealing the election. And just like our founders who fought and sacrificed everything for our constitutional republic, it's our turn now. This is our 1776 moment. We got to stand and we got to fight. We got to stand up and fight for this republic, because if we don't stand and fight today, we will have no freedom to fight for tomorrow. We, the people, we've got to rise up out of the ashes like the phoenix and let our voices be heard. And when they hear our voices, they're going to hear that we will fight for free and fair elections. We will send those that cheated us to prison. We will audit the election, and we will put we the people first. Who's with me? Who's willing to stand at the gates of freedom? Who's willing to stand and fight for this country? Woo! USA! 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 Woo!
I hate Dwayne, bro.
So much. Listen, we laugh for not crying, and we're going to roast them properly in the next segment. But James, man, these people really believe that they're in a revolution. And I'm just curious, like, who are they? Who do they think that they're fighting? But more importantly, listen to this. They are so mad that they lost this election that they're willing to overthrow this democracy. That's what I'm just trying to get out. They are so angry that they cannot believe that their Führer, -45, actually lost, particularly because of coalition of black people who saved Joe Biden and then saved the election, which means y'all owe us. But I digress. These people cannot imagine for the life of them that Donald Trump actually lost, and now they're going around the country building coalitions around the big lie. These people are really, really dangerous, James.
Oh, absolutely, man. And it's like you said, like, who are y'all fighting against? Because, I just don't understand it. Yeah, this blockhead, man, just get up there and just want to just spew hate. Just the amount of hate spewing from this man, the mayor, and then Greg Locke is just amazing. And I want y'all to pay attention to the audience, too, y'all. Just pay attention to the demographic.
Oh, yeah. It is whiter than snow in there, is what we would say in church. Whiter. Kirk Franklin, white than snow. Oh, we can make anything work around here, Doc. Listen, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, there's a chiropractor. You got to listen. I did not know that a chiropractor could give you an excuse to not wear a mask. There was an event in Florida, I believe, yesterday, where the line stretched for like, I don't know, a mile or more, where people lined up to get an excuse to not wear a mask from a chiropractor. I may have some of the details a little fuzzy, but it is the height of absurdity, James. When we come back, we're going to discuss that and the lengths people are willing to go in order to put themselves in line to be the next victim of COVID-19. It's the wildest thing, but I digress. James, it's in your hands. We'll be back with Like It or Not after this.
Turning minutes into hours into day. I'm thinking about the situation. Wonder if it's ever gonna change.
It's my time to rise.
right, y'all. Real quick. What do you call 26 letters that went for a swim? What do you call 26 letters that went for a swim? Alphabetical. Not the USA. I can't stand y'all.
I'm just a man.
All right, y'all. It's time for Like It or Not. It's about to go.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning and welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth
and not care who doesn't like it.
It is Monday, September 13th, 2021. Thanks so much for joining us. Obviously, we are missing our sister from another Mr. Rebecca Azor is out today. I don't know if we're authorized to tell a story because you know she always likes to tell her stories, but there is a story behind this one, and I'm sure she'll tell us when she gets back, James.
Oh, absolutely. Now, you know she's going to have a story or five when she comes in tomorrow.
Yeah. James, we're so used to being set up properly in this segment by her stories. Do you have a story to tell, or should we just jump to the politics?
So there was one time, why is Peter Pan always flying?
Help me understand
because
that
he never
last
lands.
joke. I'm done. Shut it down. Cancel the whole show.
We done? All right, y'all. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Thank y'all again for tuning in to Benjamin Dixon.
No, we need to end the entire show. It's over. There's no more Benjamin Dixon show after that.
Yeah, the last one, 26 letters that went for a swim, alphabetical, because they're alphabets, and they went swimming. Y'all didn't get it? Okay, never mind. So, in the news today, we had
Listen, in the news, we listen. I take this responsibility very seriously. Our job, which is to break the news to you without breaking you, and to that end, I have found quite the bit of joy, James, in your dad jokes. That said, I have to say they are quite challenging because, man, they be corny as hell, bro.
Aren't they challenging? Ben, you should already know. You're a father. You don't tell the kids jokes. I bet Ben's jokes will be like, what do you call Joe Manchin and Jim Clyburn that walk into a bar together? Two stupid idiots, no? Okay.
If you let my daughter listen, if you let Elizabeth do it, like she takes no prisoners. She does fatalities rhetorically already. So y'all be careful running up on these kids and their jokes. But I'll give you one before we go to this first story that is kind of interesting. Why did the boy throw the butter out of the window?
Why did the boy throw the butter out of the window? I give up, Ben. I'm scared.
Because he wanted to see the butterfly. Okay. Shout out to my nephew, Josh, for teaching me that joke years ago. Let's go.
I'm sorry, y'all. This is what I put y'all through. I apologize.
Oh, yeah. Now you understand. All right. So maybe if I return
I'm
fire,
become more.
We're going to have the battle of the dad jokes. But let's talk about this joke of a doctor down in Florida.
Oh, good juxtaposition. I like that. Good job.
The segue on that one. Dan Bush is a chiropractor from Venice, Florida, who has already written over 500 medical exemptions for students and parents who don't want them to wear masks. Now, he had an event yesterday. Let's roll the footage of the event, and you can see these are how many people lined up to come get their medical exemption to not have to wear a COVID mask in the middle of a pandemic from a chiropractor. Not to insult chiropractors, because I need to see one pretty soon here. Let's run the clip. Oh, I didn't do it right, Dwayne. I did do it out of order, didn't I? Let's go with F2. Now, if you look at it, just put that on B-roll for me and repeat. This is an all-out festival, James, down in Venice, Florida. He set up an event. He advertised for it, saying, come and get evaluated for a medical exemption. Now, you can see it if you, as he puts it back on the screen, you can see it that there's so many people at this event that it itself is a super spreader event. And yet they are there in order to get exemptions from not having to wear a mask. James, this is wild.
That makes no sense at all. And I'm just sitting here wondering, only thing I can think about is, what kind of music are they listening to?
Wait a minute. Go ahead, Dwayne.
They're not listening to music. They just listen to this right here.
USA! Woo! USA! Woo! USA! Woo!
These people are chanting USA to their graves, man. Like, we're laughing, but these people are literally chanting USA to their graves. I mean, see Herman Cain. Like, really following this ideology is going to get y'all killed. See Phil Valentine. I got that man's book on my bookshelf right now, The Conservative Handbook. Great writer, dead now because he didn't believe in the pandemic. And all these other radio hosts, pastors who are dying, and y'all foolish behinds, got to watch my mouth. My cousins are watching.
Yeah.
Right. Y'all foolish behinds are out here trying to get permission to say that you don't want to wear a mask. So, James, it's not that they just want to kill themselves. It seems to me that they want the opportunity to kill other people.
Oh my gosh, man. Absolutely. Just the sheer fact that y'all having a whole event for this. I mean, there has to be some kind of legalities behind this. A chiropractor giving a medical exemption form so you won't have to get a vaccine or wear a mask?
Well, I'm glad you said that, because that is the perfect segue to this next clip, or why are chiropractors allowed to do this in the first place. But it is also tied back to one of the stories we covered a couple of weeks ago about the individuals who have made an entire business out of creating fake vaccination cards. Let's run that clip.
I recently told you about a chiropractor in Palm Beach County who is allegedly offering to diagnose children and provide them with exemption notes so they wouldn't have to wear a mask at school. Now, that chiropractor says that he didn't do that and he was hacked. He's looking for the hackers, I'm sure as thoroughly as O.J. Simpson is looking for Nicole's killer. But there does seem to be a lot of chiropractors in the state of Florida who are offering that. This was a post on Facebook by Total Health Walk-In Chiropractic Pain Relief, offering as much. And then the other night, the news in Sarasota County reported this.
It's a chiropractor by the name of Danny Bush. He is, I guess, according to what he was telling me, I just talked with him a little while ago. He says he is examining all these people, and if they need a medical exemption to wear a face mask in Sarasota County School, he will sign that form, and that's what's going on.
Danny Bush, Twin Palms Chiropractic. Over 100 people lined up to see him. He'll look at you, and he says if he is able to diagnose you with something, he'll provide you with a letter that gives you a mask exemption. But he has to see you and diagnose you with something. At least that's what he's requiring now. Last week, that was not the case, apparently. Because last week, this was posted by someone claiming to be his niece. She said they're handing them out for free, no appointment needed, no catch, just walk on in and ask and they will give one to you. Now, someone saw that and didn't want to just assume that that was true. I mean, is that really his niece? Who knows? So they decided to look into it for themselves. They sent someone down there. Sure enough, that person walked in without a child, signed in, and said there was a stack of those forms with his name and signature and license number on it, waiting for anyone who wanted them. This form, right here, ready to go. You just have to fill in your child's information. And there's one bit of verbiage on that stands out in particular. The part that says, this certification from a healthcare provider that the person has a medical, physical, or psychological contradiction that prohibits this person from being able to safely wear a face covering. Well, how would you know if that person has that if you've never seen them? They've never even set foot inside your building. And for that matter, why is a chiropractor diagnosing people with stuff like asthma or anxiety? They're not qualified to do so. And to the Florida State Medical Board, when actual medical doctors are losing their jobs for doing this, why are you letting chiropractors do it?
So there's no need for us to. That brother broke that down. One thing you don't want is, I think his name was, what you say, David Michael Mick. Whatever you do, you don't want that brother to get on your case, because did he not just break down those receipts, James?
He did, and I'm here for it. He do that every time. I'm here for it, all of it.
For the life of me, James, help me to understand, how is it that these people are so in a frenzy that they are literally breaking the law and doing so in a festival-like manner? Like, hey, look at us. We're celebrating being, we're breaking the law, but we're breaking the law in a very specific way that's going to get somebody in that audience killed. I want to be very clear. Somebody there, because of what they believe in, is going to die because of what they believe in. I just don't understand how could you be so committed to stupidity, even unto death, bro? Like, I didn't see this one coming.
They don't love themselves and they don't love their kids. It's really all it is. They don't love nobody else either. I mean, it's just crazy that why would you go get a fake medical clearance so your child, who can't really make his or her own decisions, and send them back to school because you want to go out and be willy-nilly and have fun? That makes absolutely no sense to me. I mean, it makes no sense to me anywhere. I mean, of course it had to be in Florida, but it's just like, I don't understand it. I mean, just Florida. God, man, y'all just showing man. More and more every day, bro. It's just like, my gosh.
And here, I want to bring an image on your screen. Like, if this was a legitimate medical exam, why would they need armed security guards standing around like this? Look at Look at these guys on your screen. Like, they're the cosplaying, Proud Boy, Boogaloo Boys, whatever they are. Who knows? They could be the ivermectin boys, right? They might be shooting some blanks in those guns, as far as we know. Just all I know is that if you're running a normal medical operation, pew, pew, you don't have to stand around, try to pretend as if you're. But I bet you they say, come and see my bullets. I bet you they ain't blanks. Pew, pew.
Last year, Benjamin Dixon is talking about me. I'm going to go get him with my peanut gun. Pew, 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 pew.
They so tough, man. I have a particular set of skills. Pew, pew. I will find you.
I will find you.
And I will hunt you down.
I will hunt you down. Pew, pew.
The ivermectin twins, ladies and gentlemen.
The ivermectin twins. Apple and grape.
How do you like your horse dewormer flavor?
How do you like your intestines to come out? A little bit. I already knew he was coming. Look, bald headed. So what's going on, Pascal?
I didn't know he was coming. Pascal,
I came in at the right time. What's up?
You did. The pew 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 pew. It's 22.
Man.
Pew pew.
Somebody needs to remix this. Pew 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 pew
pew pew
into a song.
Pascal, brother, it's good to see you, man. How you doing this morning?
I am chilling, man. How you doing? Good Monday. Happy Monday. Grand Rising to everybody.
Grand Rising.
To all you party people. Yes.
Speaking of party people, you were at the patron party, and it's weird. Like, I don't want you to think that you came and I left, but you came and my internet went out, and I was like, well, at least I know we're in good hands with Pascal and DJ Exclusive. Thanks for coming the other night.
I mean, all day, man.
Pop right back up.
You know, it's a party over here all the time. You know what I'm saying? We had a great time on the hangout for real. But are my eyes deceiving me? Is that real? What we just saw? That's a real thing.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
which part, you know,
which part of
all of that?
The whole thing?
The whole damn thing? Like, it just, to me, oh man, guys, come on, y'all. Like, the desperation, right, is going to get it's going to get worse. I mean, it's clear as day. If you got you've got a line and people meeting up and doing this, their desperation is that bad. Yeah. I mean, this is just scary to me. I mean, yes, it's hilarious, you know, pew pew all day long. You know what I mean? What a gun all day long. But one thing that really scares me is what this could do to the rest of the country. Because if this is successful over here, other people are going to think the same thing. And this thing, man, we ain't never going to get rid of this Rona. Real talk. This thing going to be here forever. There's going to be a coronavirus like COVID 52 by the time
multiverse.
We're 52. I'm serious.
In the multiverse.
Yeah. Like, there's going to be so many different versions of this because we're not trying to do what we can the right way to stop stuff from actually popping off or another outbreak. Man, do you know how much I hate being locked up? Like, I hate it so much. I want to get out and be free. Freedom. Give us the free.
Give us free.
Give us a free. I want to be out, man. I'm a stud all day long. You know what I mean? But if you're doing stuff like this, how could we go and live our lives to the fullest extent? How can we do the pursuit of happiness if we're dealing with this kind of stupidity? I'm sorry. It's dumb. It's ignorant. Yes, I said it. And like I said, right when I hopped on, I'm looking at you guys, like looking the video as I'm hopping on. And I'm like, wait a second, this is real? I thought it was like a joke. No. Yeah, a parody, a joke, a skit.
Right.
Something. Pew pew. You know what I'm saying? So I'm terrified, man. I'm terrified because there's other people out here that are going to see this, feel like they can follow in suit. Now, there is a doctor, right? I missed a little bit of the beginning.
It is a chiropractor who is giving medical exams, giving medical exemptions. So these people are here gathered to get a medical exemption from a chiropractor in Venice, Florida, so that they don't have to wear a mask at school. It's compounding ignorance upon ignorance. So your exasperation that you express, it actually is even worse than that. Yeah,
he should be removed. That chiropractor,
and that's what I said. I just don't see the legalities of any of this. Like,
what loopholes?
Come on, man.
Through?
Right,
what loopholes he's jumping through. You know what I'm saying? Like, this reminds me of a story. You know, when they were starting to legalize weed for medicinal purposes, right?
That's right.
In the state of Missouri, you know, where I live, there were people out here driving in like RVs and pulling up to people's to malls and shopping centers and giving people medical licenses so that they can go get weed.
Oh yeah.
Get medicinal weed. You know, I got that cough. You know, I got anxiety. You know what I'm saying? Whatever they can, and they'll sign it up and pop, you go and you can go get high. Legal.
What's the address again? No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It was mobile. It ain't around no more because they got caught. They got caught because they're sitting there going, "Oh, there's these loopholes and all that stuff." I mean, come on now. When you start doing crazy stuff like this, and people catch wind of it, all right, they're gonna find something. If they see that it's not right or it's going against some sort of, I don't know, some sort of medical, against something, you know what I mean? They're going to find a way to take you down. So this chiropractor will be taken down. Now that this is a video that we're seeing out here, this guy, this person, this doctor, this chiropractor ain't going to be practicing anytime soon.
But here's
for very much longer, I mean.
Here's the gag, right? So he is going to go down, no question, but the damage is done. And he's, you know, before this event, he had already issued 500 exemptions. It looks like there's at least 500 people there at that event. So by the time he gets taken down, though, he would have probably done about 2,000 exemptions, if not more. And that is each person that gets a fake exemption represents a vector, a COVID vector, because now they're going to be out there without wearing a mask. And this is already in Florida. Ron DeSantis has already set up everything that you need in Florida to die from the pandemic. And now you have this doctor, Dan Bush, throwing an assist to the Grim Reaper. Like, they are all out here trying to make sure that death gets triple doubles on us during this pandemic.
Yeah. It's sad. But can I point something out, though?
Yes.
This chiropractor is about to scoop a bag of dough.
A big bag.
That's why he's doing it. That's why he's doing
a big bag.
A huge bag. He got bags, plural. Okay? But it's not okay. I get the hustle. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? But this is wrong. This is very, very wrong.
That's why he needs armed guards.
Somebody like him, pew pew, bags. He's running away like
the one on the left really is sitting like. Look how he's standing. It really screams impotence to me. Like pew pew. He doesn't seem. He's not standing like a proud boy. He's kind of standing like a sad incel. Pew pew.
He's the poster boy for Cialis. You know what I'm saying?
I got one last. Listen, I got one last clip that I think I want to throw in here with this. And it's not just a problem that we're facing here in the United States. And after we play this and discuss it, I want us to take a quick break. This is Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada. And I can't stand y'all.
The whistling guy. Try if you want to, Ben. You can try if you want to, Ben. It's okay.
My bad.
It's kind of like when you're in church and you're supposed to be quiet, and then one person starts giggling, and then it's a mess from there. Let me try this again. Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, had an encounter with a reporter who was asking him a question about spreading misinformation, or rather his response to this reporter was illuminating, because it shows that even in Canada, they're dealing with the same type of misinformation that we're dealing with in the United States. But I think that there are levels to this, clearly, because I don't think there's anything on the world stage like Fox News. But Canada is suffering from some of this misinformation, too. Let's listen to Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada.
Hello, thank you. Mr. Trudeau, the only reason that I'm allowed to ask you this question is because today the federal court ruled that the government doesn't have the right to determine who is or is not a journalist. This is the second election in a row that the court had to overturn your government. Do you still insist on being able to make that decision, and why?
First of all, questions around accreditation were handled by the Press Gallery and the consortium of networks who have strong perspectives on quality journalism and the important information that is shared with Canadians. The reality is, organizations like yours that continue to spread misinformation and disinformation on the science around vaccines, around how we're going to actually get through this pandemic and be there for each other and keep our kids safe, is part of why we're seeing such unfortunate anger and lack of understanding of basic science. And quite frankly, I won't call it a media organization, your group of individuals need to take accountability for some of the polarization that we're seeing in this country. And I think Canadians are cluing into the fact that there is a really important decision we take about the kind of country we want to see. And I salute all extraordinary, hardworking journalists that put science and facts at the heart of what they do and ask me tough questions every day, but make sure that they are educating and informing Canadians from a broad range of perspectives, which is the last thing that you guys do.
Wow. Whoa, my dog said I got time today.
Wow.
I just looked at my watch. I got time today.
Wow. Bruh.
I'm I'm laughing because this is your mild-mannered, standard fare, bourgeois, cosmopolitan, neoliberal politician. And he said, enough's enough. And this man said, I got time today, and you are not even, I won't even call you a media organization. Now, there are nuances to this story, questions of freedom of the press, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But just all in all, Pascal, I wish somebody would do this to Fox News.
Come on now.
Right.
Come on now. That I would kill, man, I would pay so much money to see that happen. Please. This is unbelievable. But you could tell just from the just the way he's saying it, the tone of his voice, he's just tired. He's just fed up. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just like, I ain't got time for this. Well, he's like, I got time because I'm going to say this once and one time only. But you're going to remember this. You're going to remember everything I'm saying right now. You know what I'm saying? He said at no point, anything that you asked has any relevance. Everyone in here that's listening to your questions is getting stupider for listening to you.
Wait.
And then gonna say, I'm not even gonna call you a media organization. You individuals.
You group of deplorables. you scalawag, like this man. He was digging deep. He wanted to go biblical. He wanted to go Shakespearean. Wow. Oh, thou filthy deplorables who have demolished the.
I think he wanted to say something else. He looked like, you know what? Let me think about it. Pause.
Slip up the bird.
He wanted to say your mama.
Instead. He was like, bro, kill your mother.
It looked like he really thought, because he said, am I going to keep it real? And he stuttered and he said, you're damn right. I'm about to keep it real. Y'all not even a real media organization. Right. I felt that energy. Pascal, your show is coming up in a few minutes, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. What you got covering today?
Whole mess of stuff. We got a whole weekend of craziness. We got things to talk about that have happened during the VMAs. We got stuff that's been going on as far as some viral videos that have been popping off over the past weekend. So we're just going to have some fun, catch up on the past weekend,
That's what's up.
And Rebecca said in the chat, we over here looking like 3 milk duds on the screen. She's just mad because she's not here.
Duds in the morning. Yes.
You can't even get in the club, sis.
Because you can't even get in. But real quick, Pascal, before you bounce, man, of course, we appreciate you coming every time, bro. You got to always come back, man. You're American when you go into a bathroom and when you come out. But what are you while you're in the bathroom?
You're American when you go into the bathroom and you.
And when you come out, you're American. But while you're in the bathroom, what are you?
I don't know, man.
European.
USA! Woo! USA! Woo!
This is
you had that set up? I'm sorry. He had the little button. Did you see what he just did?
That was actually teamwork. That wasn't even. That was impromptu. Everything on this show is impromptu, by the way, but I digress. Pascal, the Pascal Show, coming up in 30 minutes right here on YouTube. Tell everyone else how else should they get up with you if not there?
YouTube. You can go to my Instagram, The Pascal Show, one word. We're also on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, The Pascal Show. So go over there, follow us, and let's have some fun. And you won't hear as many trash jokes like James puts out every single day.
They're not trash jokes.
Trash.
They're dad jokes.
It's trash.
Dad jokes.
European.
Hey, brother.
European. James.
European. Big metal fan, bro.
Hey, big metal fan.
Big metal fan takes the cake.
But I'm just saying, he started big. You know what I mean? He went out big. Went out the gate big with big metal fan. European.
European.
Appreciate you.
YouTube.com, The Pascal Show, 10 o'clock Eastern. Hey, man, always a pleasure. Even when you drop in for 5 minutes or 30 minutes.
Always.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us, brother.
Always a pleasure.
Hey, man, next time we need to have a try not to laugh challenge, Pascal. So
be on the lookout. Let's go. Come on.
If I'm doing, listen, Listen, you should do it during a segment where I'm trying to be serious. Of course, nothing serious like war or anything, but like American politics is stupid. So y'all do a no laughing contest while I'm doing an American politics story.
That'd be so much fun.
That would be so good.
All day long.
Pew, pew. DJ Exclusive, take us to a quick break. When we come back, more like it or not, we got some evangelical pastors that we got to dissect a little bit. Pascal, we'll see you tomorrow.
European. Thank y'all again, man. Make sure you stay tuned. Shout out to the brother Pascal, man, for coming through as usual. So make sure that if you have not a patron and you're not going to be in the after party, that you go over to the Pascal show starting at 10 a.m. Eastern time, man. Make sure you don't miss it. Brother Nick Eden, what's going on?
The man, I make mistakes. You know that I ain't perfect. I know the days have come when you don't think that it.
Benjamin Dixon.
Just you and me. You're my favorite.
You know, DJ Exclusive, a couple things here, man. Number one, isn't that somebody from our audience singing that? That's Nick, ain't
it? Nick Eden. Yep, Nick Eden.
Nick?
He shared that sometime last year, man. I remember he told me about it, and I said, man, make sure you share this track. And I said, I'm going to make sure I play it as much as I possibly can.
Yeah, man. No, I'm feeling that cut. That takes me back to that makes me feel like I'm in high school again. So more of that. I love that. Shout out to Nick, who is one of our patrons, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he dropped in at our patron party, patreon.com/like-it-or-not to get access to all of those shenanigans. And then the second thing, James. You've been on the screen for like the last hour and a half straight. Like, if you need to grab some coffee, by all means. But I got some clips. I don't think you're not gonna want to miss. So let's
get it, man. I'm good to go. You know, the coffee is in me. The juices are flowing, so I'm ready.
All right. Okay. Good. I just want to be mindful because while I'm on break, you're still playing. So I just want to keep that in mind. Let's take a look at this first clip. I won. Anti-vax conspiracy theorist Dave Daubenmire, who has been severely ill for weeks, possibly with COVID-19, is now screaming at his viewers that they are going to die if they don't take countless supplements to protect their health. This is an interesting turn of events. Let's take a look.
We're trying to kill you! The people who are spreading the virus are the ones who have the vaccinations, friends. Shake your damn head. Your eyes are stuck. They're telling you it's those who aren't vaccinated. It's the ones who are vaccinated who are killing people. NAC, 500, 600 milligrams a day, twice a day. Free radical protection. Are you taking any of it? Vitamin C, 5 of them a day. 5,000 vitamin C, 1,000 mgs a day. I take 5 of them a day, and I'm alive. Vitamin D3, 5,000 IUs, whatever that means. When I go on the road, I pack them. I take them with me. I take them every day. Copper bisglycinate. Every day. Every day for a year, I've taken, I don't even know what it is. But the doctor told me to take it, and I've been taking it. Vitamin A. Every day. 3,000 mcgs. Every day. Elderberry. Gummies.
Doctor's
every day. I chew them throughout the course of the day. The devil wants to take me out. This is at least my third bout with this stuff. At least my third one.
Wait a minute.
And this has been the barrier. Hey, listen, I don't know what to tell you. Because some of you right now still won't go do it. You still won't go do it. You're going to be dead.
Bro, you gonna be dead taking all that stupid stuff. What the hell you doing now? Granted, elderberry and vitamin C, yes, okay, but bro, what are you doing?
Listen, man.
I don't even know what I'm taking. I'm just taking it.
So he wait. Just for the culture, Dwayne, I know you're gonna sample this, but it was the first 2 seconds for me. It was the first 2. Can you put us in a B-roll with the first 2 seconds? Just let that thing play.
I already got it.
Kill ya! We're trying to kill ya! They're trying to kill ya! They're trying to kill ya! They're trying to kill ya!
That's what makes sense. Bro, why you so aggressive?
Oh my God.
They're trying to kill ya! I think you're trying to kill him with all that damn yelling, bro. What's going on?
Knowing his blood pressure about, 220 over 115. Man, so he's hawking he's hawking these supplements is what he's doing. He's growing an audience and he's found a way to monetize it, and so he's mixing in these generic whatever those things are. I don't know what they are. I do know it's a hustle. Most of these super brain supplements that they sell you through conservative media is certainly a hustle. Alex Jones, listen. Alex Jones has been selling brain supplements for the last 15 years of me knowing about them. Do you think they actually work? Right. Just, come on, folks. I got a brain supplement for you. I'm going to talk about it in the after party, but it ain't the stuff that Alex Jones and these people like this are selling you. Now, to everything else, James, you're right. Like, if I go into my cabinet, I could do this. I got vitamin C. I've got iron. I've got lysine. I've got, elderberry. I got, take all that, but also go take the damn vaccine, you moron.
You stupid idiot. That's the best thing to do. Just get the vaccine. And at the end, you heard him. Yeah, I fought this stuff at least 3 times. 3 times, dude? Okay. We'll wait. We know what the outcome going to be. We'll wait.
Oh, man.
I don't wish death on nobody, but bro, 3 times? You know what they say? 3 strikes, you're out.
I kind of hope. I'm like, because if this man ends up dying, it's gonna be like, see, look at y'all God. It'll be like, this man out here preaching Jesus, and he died. Come on, I don't know if we need any more black guys like that. What we need is like all these false prophets just need to be. They need a woodshed moment. They need a Mount Carmel moment. But I digress. Here's the next one. Go ahead, James.
The woodshed moment. I'm like, what Dr. Mac at?
Yeah. We need to pull these people to the woodshed.
Okay.
The one I like is the one that's in the Bible, but we'll say that for the Bible episode with Brother Anthony. Because ask these people what happened. Ask these preachers what happened to the false prophets. Anyway, I digress. Listen to this next clip, because I want to meet y'all up there. Anyway, I digress. Lauren Winsky, who was let go from he was let go even as an evangelical from racist, anti-Semitic True News, right? Saying that COVID-19 vaccines are a, quote, a mass death scale injection and a, quote, precursor to the mark of the beast. Now, I want you to understand, it appears like they have been let go from a news organization that is already an evangelical news organization. They are racist and they are even anti-Semitic, but it sounds like this person went too far even for them. Take a listen to the clip.
So if this isn't the mark, what is?
Well, in the Bible, it says that, we would know and we'd make the decision to take the mark of the beast intentionally. So that is why I do not believe that the actual vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine, is the mark of the beast. However, everything that they have aligned, the mandates, the inability to travel, interstate travel, the inability to buy and sell, go to the grocery store. We're already seeing it in other countries and other continents like Australia. This is all part of the beast system. It's a precursor to the mark of the beast that is coming next. They said that there's going to be a mass deception. There's going to be one who rises up who claims, I have the cure, I have everything. You have to drop everything and follow me. But only thing you have to do is take this mark. So what they're doing is they're setting it up. This is all a precursor to the mark of the beast. Now, I don't believe that the current vaccine is. I think that this is a mass death scale injection.
So wait. I thought for a second that she was going to kind of like dial it back a little bit at the end, saying, I don't believe that this is the mark of the beast. But she went one step further and said, while I don't believe that this is the mark of the beast, I believe that it is a mass death scale injection and a precursor. Bro, you and I both grew up in religious circles. These folks are out of their damn minds.
Who is she again?
She used to be a correspondent for True News. Like, these are the people who are on television or on the internet and these different, media outlets. But she was apparently not radical enough. Listen to her talk, and they got rid of her over at True News. So if you think that she is bad, think about the platform that she wasn't bad enough for. And that should help you understand what we're fighting against.
Absolutely. Bro, these people at all. It's the mark of the beast. She said it's what did you say? You said life-threatening injection or right. Life-ending.
She said the vaccines are a mass death scale injection, and the fact is that their people are dying, man. Like, up is down. Down is up, night is day, day is night. Right. The grass is blue and the sky is green, because we're living in some kind of upside down reality with these people, because they're doing everything they can to avoid getting this vaccine, and they're dying from it. Oh,
absolutely. I'm not dead. You're not dead, Ben. Rebecca's not dead. Dwayne's not dead. David's not either. And we got the vaccine.
Yep.
I don't feel any marks. I haven't grown any extra fingers, toes, anything else.
I am
not flying, unfortunately. I have lost some weight.
RNA, maybe my RNA is percolating. So.
Okay, RNA is percolating.
I'm transmitting on several frequencies at this. Where's the Hotep music? The vaccine has gotten me to the place where I am transmitting on a level of frequency where my third eye has connected to the sentimentality of the universe, and I have grown the mark of the beast in my blood. Because of
maximum vaccination leads to procrastination of the universal station of this inclined nation, listening on the radio station of the normal human vibration.
From the medical castration that comes from ivermectin, you better stop listening to these mediocre white men who are telling you to go and take some hydroxychloroquine. Y'all better be listening to the descendants of the survivors of slavery, because if you need to know how to win, brother, listen to black folks.
Speak, brother.
See, Rebecca. See what happens when you're not here, Rebecca.
You see what happens when you're not here, Rebecca.
Hey, Church, say that, man.
Before we move on, I think y'all might enjoy this.
Let's do it.
USA! Woo! You're going to be dead. We're trying to kill you. USA! Woo! You're going to be dead. We're trying to kill you. USA! Woo! You're going to be dead. We're trying to kill you. USA!
What is wrong with white conservative people? Like, I really just want to say, y'all, like, I've never seen people line up to die. Man. Yes, kill me.
God damn it, Dwayne.
Right. We're gonna kill you. USA. Oh, sweet baby Jesus, 8 pounds, 12 ounces. Oh my goodness, God, I need deliverance here. All right, now today, let's go to this other story. Devin Henry, owner of the construction company that removed the statue, hugs his mom, Frida Thornton, after he removed one of the country's largest remaining monuments to the Confederacy, a towering statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee on Monument Avenue in Richmond, Virginia. And this photo is from September 8th, 2021. This is the mother and son, the mother of the son, the gentleman you see in your photo, who owned the construction company. Then you can see the defeated and deflated General Lee in the background, being tied in the chains of this black man's construction company, being removed and subjugated to the history of the victory of the Union over the Confederacy. James, isn't this a beautiful photo?
Yes, it is. I still want to know who got that statue, though.
I heard they chopped it up and they chopped it up into little pieces and they ground it into pulp, into dirt, and they're going to use it as some kind of fertilizer in some empty junkyard.
Nice.
That is the legacy of the Confederacy. Never forget that. Do we have video footage of them removing it? Because it was a monumental occasion. All of these things have been set into motion in the aftermath of several things, namely the protest back in Charlottesville back in 2017, the protest that led to the death of our comrade Heather Heyer. And we saw back in 2017 when all those Nazis showed up to Charlottesville and they started screaming and chanting, quote unquote, Jews would not replace us. That kind of set into motion, along with a couple of other things. There has been like a concerted effort for years. Many years. I'm thinking about our sister who climbed up the flagpole, Brittany, and took down the Confederate flag. I believe, was it South Carolina or North Carolina? My memory is escaping me. But people have been protesting these images of the Confederacy for years, and it's just fitting that a black company, construction company, got the contract to remove this guy.
Right. Yeah. Dope as hell, and I'm glad it happened.
Yeah, absolutely. One more quick story. U.S. Evangelical Lutheran Church installs its first openly transgender bishop. The Reverend Megan Rohrer will lead one of the church's 65 synods, overseeing nearly 200 congregation in Northern California and Northern Nevada. And there's a quote that said, "My call is to be up in some..." Oh, wait, hang on. I got to get this right. They said that my call is to be up to the same messy, loving things I was up to before, Rohrer told worshipers. But mostly, if you'll let me, and I think that you will, my hope is to love you, and beyond that, to love what you love. Another quote says that I step, and this is from the Reverend Megan Rohrer, saying that I step into this role because a diverse community of Lutherans in Northern California and Nevada prayerfully and thoughtfully voted to do a historic thing. Rohrer said in a statement, "My installation will celebrate all that is possible when we trust God to shepherd us forward." Interesting story coming from the U.S. Evangelical Lutheran Church. Juxtapose that, James, to Greg Locke, who said, "I'm doing everything I can to fight against the LGBTQIA community." It's just good to see that there is some good news in terms of progress.
Absolutely. B, leave me alone, B.
I want to show you all what you have in store for you in the after party. Patreon.com/like it or not. I have a clip of a white sister who's doing gangster rap, James.
What?
Now, David and Dwayne, if you could pull that up before we get ready to go, we're going to play a little bit of it. We're not going to give them the whole thing. We're going to tease them because we're going to properly roast this sister in the after party. Patreon.com/like it or not. James, we're getting ready to get out of here and go to the after party. They've been missing it. If you're not a patron at this point, I don't know what they're waiting on, bro.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know if y'all waiting for Christmas. I mean, which is not too far away. I don't know if y'all waiting for Christmas or what, man, but y'all need to go ahead and join patreon.com/like it or not or patreon.com/the BPD show, right, man?
That's right. You gotta become a patron and you get access to all this. And I promise you, like, how do we balance it, man? We do it all the time. Like, we are hyper local because we know what's going on right here in every city that we're in. Georgia Fort, she covers Minneapolis, and I mean, she does it brilliantly. We're in Atlanta. We're covering what's happening on the ground in Atlanta, but we're also international. Like, we cover College Park as well as Cambridge. We'll cover Decatur just like we will London in the UK. So shout out to everybody who's a patron from all those places and that showed up. I mean, it'll be 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning their time, and they're partying with us as we're just getting started at 9 o'clock on the East Coast. So patreon.com/like it or not. You guys have been missing out if you're not there. Dwayne, do we have a sample of what we're going to do in the after party?
You think I'm ugly? I don't care. You think I'm dumb? I don't care. You think I'm smart? I don't care. Bitch, I make my money.
All right. That's it. Stop it.
Stop it. You didn't see that coming, did you, Jay?
What in the what?
Wait, because it kind of went by really quickly. Play that same sample one more time so that people can understand why they need to become a patron. Go ahead.
You think I'm ugly? I don't care. You think I'm dumb? I don't care. You think I'm scum? I don't care. Bitch, I make my money. Party till I die.
That's it. Get thee away from these, Satan.
No. I just want to know why her friends and family didn't tell her, sis, no, this ain't it. This ain't it.
Oh, God. And that's only a couple of seconds, bro. I'm really ready to see the rest of it now.
Oh, man.
Well, you about to have so many people mad in this chat because they can't see the rest of this video. See? Patreon.com/like it or not.
And I promise you, the next half of the video is worse than the first half, if you can imagine that. But, James, that's saying. It sounds like Morse code, bro. She sounds like she's trying to connect with the coalition in the mountains over there on Independence Day. It's the bloody American.
Dwayne is on his SHIT today, boy.
Hey, give me the Morse code. It's a sound for the troops. Do it again.
Wayne had a good weekend.
David.
Man. I'm going to tell y'all about my herbal supplements in the after party. Patreon.com/ for the BPD show, or rather, like it or not. James, it's in your hands, man. Can you buy me about 10 minutes?
Yeah.
We'll see everybody else tomorrow. If you're not going with us to the after party, go over there and support Brother Pascal. Otherwise, James is your world.
Confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately, I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand.
Back again like flu season, I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving, don't give a I don't care. Too funny, oh shorty talking about I'm on a now, can't get a pass now. I'm a cash cow, keeping it brash now. It's trash now, I'm a spaz out.
Shay, good morning, Shay. Rachel, good morning. Oh, Shana, good morning. Rachel, good morning. Taj Newby, good morning, sir.
My new merch, color duck sauce on the new couch with my chucks on. Get the on with that. I'm big cool on the small chat, cause I know now that I'm all that. Got a hug guy on the ball cat, get the out of my face.
Talking to my mirror like
hey, Dwayne.
So much.
You know something I just realized?
I heard you, so what?
It takes guts to be an organ donor. Okay, welcome back to the stream. Elizabeth Dixon.
All right, y'all. Welcome back. Yeah, man, I'm good. As you know, I like to. I got to present better. Publicly, I like to wear my blazers, but there's a time in the morning when it's like I got to take that junk off, bro. And I think that moment is now as we get ready to check out this white girl gangster rap, because I have not stopped laughing, James. I haven't stopped laughing since we went off the air. Take a look at this sister as she presents her. Because here's the thing, James, you know the music industry, and maybe you could tell us, help set this up, because there's a lot of steps between having the idea about a song and going as far as recording in a whole ass music video for that song and putting yourself out there for the world to see. Like, that's a lot of money and time and real belief in herself, isn't it?
I blame her friends. She ain't got no friends. Her real friends would have said, girl, you sound like shit. But instead they said, man, that's a banger right there, bro. That's oh, yeah, banger. Man. That's a banger right there, bro. Oh, Oh, okay. Yeah, man. That shit was tight. That's some Kanye stuff right there, man. Thought you Kanye.
DJ, I almost said DJ Dwayne. Dwayne, run that beautiful. Let's watch it in its entirety, but put us in the response shot of this sister in what we're going to call the SOS white girl rap. There we go. Here we go.
You think I'm ugly? I don't care. You think I'm dumb? I don't care. You think I'm scum? I don't care. Bitch, I make my money. Party till I die with my chin up high. Come on, come back. Twerk like it's my last day on this earth. Let the dollar make a work. In my street like the slaves. Bitches always kiss my feet. You will have to kill me to make me stop. Already dead again. You can't hurt me. Only God. Party till I die with my chin up high. Come back. Twerk like it's my last day on this earth. Twerk, piece of scum. Ha ha ha. What the heck? Party till I die with my chin up high. Come on.
I can't. Stop.
That money maker in my face. No. Love your misbehavior.
No.
Her name is Aim B. Bobby.
What?
It's spelled A-M-E. Last name is B-I-B-A-B-I. I gave you all the quote in Slack from her under her YouTube video. It went semi-viral, obviously.
This is what she said. She said, just for the record. She said, just for the record, we are aware of the fact that there was a lot of negativity out there about the rap, the beat, the video clip, etc. What I want to say about that is that I'm very proud of my... She said, I'm very proud of myself and my team. And this is only our first video clip. Okay, well, solidarity with you guys. This is your first video clip. It's actually not that bad. The song is, but the video is not terrible. We may not have offered an A-quality production. This is what she's saying. We may not have offered an A-quality production as some have found, but we all got to start somewhere, and I'm not scared of showing you guys my journey. Laugh at me, hate me, but you cannot deny me. Okay, sis.
Party like no, what's say it? I can't. And then she had the nerve to try to twerk.
She tried to look back at it, bro.
She's looking at her back. What you looking at, girl?
Well, here's the thing. Like, nobody said anything about your production quality. I didn't hear not a single person say that the video quality wasn't at A+. Nobody said that. We said your rap. Matter of fact, don't take my word for it. Dwayne?
You think I'm ugly? I don't care. You think I'm dumb? I don't care. You think I'm scum? I don't care.
I don't care.
Bitch, I make my money.
I make money.
Party till I die with my chin up high. Come on, come back.
Not a damn.
All right.
Like it's my last day.
Let's leave it up. I want to give a shout out to Rebecca Black, though. Friday. Like, that was a song that was a work in progress many, many years ago. Like, you know, not everything is as tragic as this SOS. But I digress. Here comes my little one. I got another clip, or at least a picture or a clip. This is somebody with a $300 Karen haircut. I don't even know what it's about, but it's got my attention.
You're going to love it.
I just paid $300 to look like a fucking Karen. I look like I'm in the PTA. I swear I don't drive a fucking minivan. I look like I have 3 sons who play fucking T-ball. I look like I collect coupons.
Watch this. Watch y'all.
Okay, let's practice. Let me speak to your manager. I'd like to speak with your manager. Oh my god.
Why does she give me Cagnes Everdeen
Why
a little
does
bit?
God fucking hate me?
Oh man.
She said, let me practice. I want to speak to your manager. And that haircut was a damn mess, though.
I'm not even going to tell you what I thought it was at first. I thought she was a parody of a parody, but she's dead ass serious.
She is so mad.
Somebody cut her hair like that for real, and she paid $300 for it.
Yes, she really looks like David said, looks like Lois Griffin. I support this message.
And she's taking it in stride. I mean, face. Can I speak to your manager? She's taking it in stride. She's almost. Do you think this is real, or you think she's like putting on?
I think it's real. Yeah, I think it's real. I think it's real because who the hell would want a haircut like that?
I don't know. I think she probably did it to be able to make the video.
Yeah, that's what
you think so?
That was what I was thinking.
Because she's the little. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. There are some talented people who can improvise like that. Because if this actually happened and she improvised this brilliantly, she's more talented than she's letting on. Because this was funny as hell to me.
Yeah.
Can I speak to your manager? Okay. This next clip is called a shout competition. Who has an introduction to that? Because I don't know anything about this one.
This one's short, but I think the church folks will appreciate it.
Uh-oh. Look at David talking about church folks.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
I was trying to hold my peace. Stop it, y'all. You're messing with me.
I purposely don't watch the after party videos because I like to be surprised just like everybody else. So I was expecting like people to be screaming at each other. I was not expecting this at all.
No. When James shared it, and I was like, what is shout competition? And I played it, I was like, oh my God.
Let me tell you something. If you really want to find out who somebody is, play this music and see what it does to them. Oh, you gonna know whether or not they grew up in the church, because I almost couldn't hold my seat. Play it again one time. Oh, that's a good track too. Okay, play it. Stop. I feel like one of the preachers like, stop. I'm trying to go. We're trying to move. Let's move on to the next story. James, wait, it looked like you up to no good over there, man. What you doing?
So I'm trying to grab two videos. Right.
But we can go to Lil Nas X. There's a picture and a video of Lil Nas X that I want to talk about last night.
Let's do it.
Oh yeah, he pushed all the envelope last night.
I know the church. See, we just went from shouting music. Now the church folks are like, "Oh my God!"
So a half-naked man on the stage grabbing his peen.
Oh, that was it. I thought it was gonna get worse. That's not it. That's all.
I mean, it got a little bit more raunchier.
Let me preface that. Let me preface that by saying I'm sure if I wanted to see more, there's a lot more.
There was a lot more.
That said, and look at where Dwayne paused it.
That's the picture. That's the picture I was given.
Dwayne said that's the picture I was given.
Yeah, that's not the clip. That's a still.
Oh, I thought he paused it. I was like, man, that's the perfect pause. You got to be careful around here. You could go from international policy and foreign relations. You can go from a class critique of the conditions that we're in COVID-19, all the way down to some church shouting music to Montero twerking. Play the clip again.
Come on, Montero. Right.
First thing I heard was a drum line. They kill it.
Yes, he had a marching band with them bring him out last night.
All right, drum major. All right, I feel it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a very subtle performance. I ain't gonna say subtle, but it was a little bit better than what it would have been. Yeah, I guess it wasn't as raunchy, but it was cool. It was cool. He looked like he had a good time. He enjoyed himself. Now I'm just wondering what Boosie had to say today.
I had never seen somebody so worried about another man's sexuality as Boosie is worried about Lil Nas X. I'm just like, bro, come on.
Neither.
Come on, man. Leave the man alone. Let the man live his life. I'm just proud that I knew about Lil Nas X before, like, a whole bunch of other people. James, I'm sure you did, being a DJ.
Yeah.
Like, when Old Town Road came across my radar, it came across my radar like 3 months before it even went, like, super, super viral. And you could hear immediately that this brother was about to change the game. So.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that, he did all his stuff and he tried to keep, I ain't gonna say he kept quiet about it, but he put the music out and then finally was like, hey, I'm gay. It's just like, but I still make good music, so it don't matter.
Period. Because nobody would have had anything to say if he was there and all the people behind him were women that were just as scantily clad and dressed and moving as provocatively. In fact, all the men who would complain about it would have a front row seat if it was Megan Thee Stallion. I'm not going to finish that sentence, but
you're not.
No, I am, because I know I would be. I'd be on the front row. Hey, Meg, the Meganese, come on.
Right. Marquez is stupid. Marquez talking about Boosie is turned on. Shut up, Marquez. Get out of here.
It's something, man. Just like let that man live his life. Good Lord.
It's something. And then this. Oh, I was about to say, this next clip that we got, a message was shared over the weekend by a very familiar face, and I even got emotional when I saw it. I was like, oh my gosh. So
the feels.
Dwayne, if you could roll that clip.
You got a second? Okay. You remember how when we were younger, we used to run around and hang out with Blue and find clues and talk to Mr. Salt and freak out about the mail and do all the fun stuff. And then one day I was like, oh, hey, guess what? Big news. I'm leaving. This is my brother Joe. He's your new best friend. And then I got on a bus and I left. And we didn't see each other for like a really long time. Can we just talk about that? Great. Because I realized that was kind of abrupt. I just kind of got up and went to college. And that was really challenging, by the way, but great, because I got to use my mind and take a step at a time, and now I literally am doing many of the things that I wanted to do. And then look at you, and look at all you have done, and all you have accomplished in all that time. And it's just so amazing, right? I mean, we started out with clues, and now it's what? Student loans, and jobs, and families, and some of it has been kind of hard. You know? I know you know. And I wanted to tell you that I really couldn't have done all of that without your help. And in fact, all the help that you helped me with when we were younger is still helping me today, right now. And that's super cool. I guess I just wanted to say that after all these years, I never forgot you. Ever. And I'm super glad we're still friends. Thanks for listening. You look great, by the way. Whatever it is you're doing, it's working.
Steve! Goddamn Steve from Blue's Clues, man. I saw that clip. I was like, oh.
And you know what's
There's
crazy?
something in my eye.
What's crazy is that neither one of, like, both of us were just too old. Like,
So goodbye.